Every one of you have what it takes to be as great as you choose to be. The problem is your thoughts and your self-image are saying, maybe I'm not so worth it. When you allow yourselves to become great, and someone like your bold coach or your MAPS coach is taking a stand for you, and they're going to stand for your greatness more than you stand for those limitations, you start figuring out what's inside of you. Now here's the interesting part to me. When you take your brain, and I'm going to just take a sponge, and you take this sponge and you place it in a vat of water, and you pull the sponge out, what is it full of?
Water.
If you wring that sponge out, take it and put it in a vat of vinegar, what does it come up with?
Vinegar.
So what are you immersing your brain in? Because your brain is like a sponge. It will take in everything around you. And the way that we change our thinking is to have a different thought over and over and over again. That's why you take a class over and over and over again. Because see, every time that neuron shoots off and it has that thought and it comes along the axon and hits another neuron, it literally builds that axon to where it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. Now the interesting part to me, and neuroscience tells us, is that nerve cells that fire together, wire together. And the greatest part about all of this is that nerve cells that no longer wire together or fire together no longer wire together. So see, you can become different. And as I say, you can't become different until you get to better. So what are you going to change? Today, what are you going to decide to do to make a change? Because awareness is the first step to change. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you think you're going to do it on your own, think again. It has been proven in neuroscience, it's been proven in real estate, in every other occupation. People that have someone with them. Gary Keller says it best, no one succeeds alone. And that's why we started coaching. See, we know that the way that people think, and we know the way that the brain is. The brain, every one of you have what's called the reticular activating system. You learned it in bold, the RAS, right back here. What did you tell your RAS today that you wanted? How many of you actually got up and before your feet ever hit the ground, you said, this is the way my day is going to go. This is what I'm going to be intentional about. This is what's going to happen. Did you, good for you. See, a lot of us know that, and yet we get up and we go about our day without ever doing another thing about it. So I'm going to challenge you to not get out of bed tomorrow morning until you've absolutely thought of at least 3 things you're going to be intentional about. Whether it be I'm going to be intentional about my lead generation, or I'm going to be intentional about selling so-and-so a house, or I'm going to be intentional about telling my family I love them. Whatever your intentionality is, and you start setting up those 3 things that you're intentional for, pretty soon it will become 5, and pretty soon you'll be designing your entire day. And maybe it won't come out exactly how you said it would or you thought it would, and yet it'll come out pretty doggone close. Because see, you are designing your life. People in bold, they say a life by design or a life by default. And here I'm going to tell you the real trick. That's the way we had to bring you in. It's really a life by design or a life by design. Because I had to start out with every choice you make, right? And as Gary Keller always tells us, first you make the choice, and the choice makes you. So it's always been a life by design. You designed it. And if you don't like where you're at, you can change it. You change it by the people that you surround yourself with, by the people you listen to, by the things that you do, by the things you become aware of. A coach is there to help guide and direct and to literally help you see things that you can't see on your own because they're called blind spots. Just like driving down the road in that car and you go to change lanes and all of a sudden there's a car there, right? Has that ever happened to you? called a blind spot. That's what happens in our life. We're going along thinking our life is really good, and all of a sudden, we hit a blind spot. We make a choice that someone else goes, better veer left. You veered right. Who's helping you with your choices? Who's helping you to put the mirror up? And some people say, well, I don't like coaching. I don't like what I see. And I go, well, you know what? That's like not liking something about yourself, looking in the mirror and getting mad at the mirror. Be careful what you speak. Every word you say has energy. Every thought you have has energy. Your feelings have energy. Be careful. And the reason I thought about that right then is I was sitting there thinking about all the women that look in the mirror and then complain about the way that they look. Quit complaining. Talk about the great things and find out the other things will become better. Be careful. Tell everybody great things and they get greater. Talk about how it's already happening. And be certain of one thing. Approve of yourself and love yourself. As I'm rewriting a lot of bold, some of the things that I so want to say, I'm not going to say because I just wrote it. And you'll get it when you go to bold. I will tell you one thing. You cannot love other people unless you love yourself. So right now, we're going to do something fun, and then I'm going to bring Ron up here to talk with you, is you're going to turn to your neighbor. You're not going to say, I love you. Don't worry about none of that. Okay. What you are going to say, look him straight in the eye and go, I love myself, and do it 3 times. Here we go. Turn to your